Hope you are enjoying the marathon so far. Got a super awesome time spinner race coming up with Lord Fizzlebeef and Shadow Walker 227. Just a couple quick notes before we get started, though. Once again, we are here raising money for the Liam Foundation, an amazing organization that does a lot of great work for the LGBTQIA community, based out of Rockford, Illinois. They've been amazing to work with. You guys have been amazing, making sure that they have funds to do important work for the community in which they service. And speaking of money, we got a donation while we were on break from St. Von Jester, $20. Why don't crabs and lobsters donate to charity? Because they're selfish. And the Dark Moon groans are back, folks. So, I mean, if you want to keep making him cringe, keep donating those dad jokes. Yep. It's great. We love it. It goes to a good cause. Also, for the prize for the day is a $75 gift card online to any game shop of your choice. And starting with this block, there's a $50 GameStop gift card. So, great prizes. Also, we have an incentive for the Metroid Fusion race tonight, still going on. Kill or Save the Animals. Save the Animals is still up. I know last night we had a battle and Kill the Animals won, so are the animals getting saved tonight? Looks like it, unless you donate to change it. Other than that, I think we're good. We're going to get this race started. So I'm going to kick it over to our comms team tonight, who is Hate the 13th and Saracen, and we will get this race started.
Why, hello, good people.
Good evening, afternoon, folks.
All right, so it is time to spend some time, and if you have not spun some time before, this is a Metroidvania game that came out a couple of years ago. It is incredibly popular in the FFR Discord. We sometimes joke that the FFR Discord is really an archipelago Timespinner Discord, but the general outline is you play as Lunaeus. You are going to go back in time to warn your tribe about some issues, but it turns out you get ambushed. We're going to see that cutscene skipped, so don't worry, I didn't spoil too much. But then you go on to collect some stuff, break some time, and fix it all back together. So that's the high-level overview. We'll get a little bit more into it as the race goes on.
Yes, you inflict violence upon your enemies, destroy reality, and, you might find a cute little crow to follow you around.
The crow is definitely one of the better parts.
I do love the bird. So the flags the runners are going to be showing off.
We have an issue.
Oh?
Yeah, the Streamlabs just crashed. Twitch crashed on my end. So both the runners just went dead on my end. So they were cropped, and we're not seeing them go because everything just died. So hold on. What you're seeing is a time spinner background just to fill things in. But okay, good. I got Shadow Walker. Shadow Walker is here. Let me get Fizzlebeef back. Anyway, continue with what you're doing. I'm just letting you know that we had an issue.
All right, so just some minor technical difficulties to be handled there. That's fine. Anywho, so the flags are going to be running. These were the the Time Spinner flags from the FFR Time Spinner Archipelago tournament that was run earlier this year. It's going to be... I'm trying to remember exactly what it was now, because it's been a while. I know we're going to have Stinky Maw, because, well, Stinky Maw is stinky.
Inverted start.
All right. Specific key cards, I'm relatively certain, and I'm fairly certain that we're not going to see a lot of out of bounds or glitching or anything coming out of these runners, because they both tend to, run clean. If you want the glitches, that's next race. And hopefully the game audio is good range, because the music on this game is just, it's an utter bop. I love it.
Yeah, the music in Timespinner is fantastic. If you've played any of the other Castlevania games, you will find elements that are very common, we shall say. It looks like Symphony of the Night, but modernized a bit. So one thing that's great about this game, the movement is silk. It is so smooth. And we see the runners are off.
Yeah, the movement in this game, it just feels so nice.
Does not look like either runner preloaded.
Does not seem so. All right, and it looks like we're getting a Forbidden Tome start. That's a fairly decent orb. It's going to get you chastised by Mom, but, you know, you have damage, or you have good range on it.
And Aura Blast is a starting spell, which is the vanilla starting spell. It's the only spell that I know of that has different levels of charge that you can use.
Yeah, the Aura Blast, if you charged up fully, you get the big bow thing that you saw from Shadow Walker, but if you charge it just a little bit, you get just the center spot.
All right. Icicle Ring to start, which just improves the amount of range damage we're going to be doing here. The Icicle Ring causes you to shoot an icicle out whenever you attack with the orb that you have set up. You get a Nether Orb, and a Blood Orb, and the Money Egg.
All right, well,
baby.
Yeah, so Nether Orb is... Shadow, what are you doing? You've got the Jewelry Box. The Jewelry Box is a relic that... allows you to equip multiple sets of orbs, so you can just quick swap between them.
So the Nether Orb is kind of a relatively basic orb in terms of its function. You throw out the orb, it hits, it comes back. It does bludgeoning damage. However, if you hit a spell effect with it, it causes a little whirlpool of magical energy. The Blood Orb, on the other hand, is one where it sort of tries to auto-target. It's kind of bad at tracking moving targets, but it doesn't require as much aiming as other orbs.
Yeah, and additionally, you know, in addendum to just the other effects, there are different damage types. So the Blood Orb is does what is known as chaos damage. The Nether Orb deals bludgeoning damage, and the little tear in reality that can pull up is little whirlpool is chaos damage as well. The Forbidden Tome, you're throwing out a big sword. Guess what type of damage you got there?
So we get a Silence Ring out of that box there, which is actually really helpful in a couple of different ways. So it reduces the damage you take from a hit, and it takes a little time to recharge between each use, but there's a couple of different things that go on with that. The first one is you're just not taking the damage. The second one is it stops you from getting knocked back when it fully reduces the damage on a hit. So that can be really helpful as well.
Yeah, we've seen some minor route variations here, but mostly the runners are doing pretty well the normal sane route for an inverted start. If you go check you can go check the one chest on the right or the left side of the camp roof, and then go to the right to get progression mostly.
The chest to the left was checked by Fizzlebeef. It was a plasma crystal, which is worthless. Here we see a real gamble coming out of Fizzle, as he's opting not to check the chest that Shadow Walker is headed to right now. Where you jump down onto that ledge, you have to have the bridge up if you don't have any other movement types to get in there. Just a captain's uniform, good armor, but not amazing.
Yeah, that captain's armor, though, given that Fizzle is wearing a leather jerkin, I'd much rather have the captain's armor.
It's fine. The only thing that could have really bit Fizzle here is if that was one of our vertical movement pieces, and, you know, we don't see that happening here, so...
Yeah, or if it were Teleria. The Teleria is... it's called the Teleria attachment in-game. It's you go fast. It's what makes you go... Meow.
Alright. Fizzle realizes he needs to check to the right. I was gonna say, I've made that mistake before.
And not rewarded for it, just getting some max aura. Aura is what you use to cast the spells.
That was a lot of damage in that room.
Yeah, Fizzle pretty aggressively damage boosting there. A little bit too aggressively, I think. He's going to have to shove that yummy sun in his mouth.
I can understand and appreciate that. Now, because this is sort of a mid to late game area that we're in right now, the experience per fight is huge. So we're going to be picking up some good levels here. Some of these enemies are kind of annoying, but you can see Shadow Walker using the Blood Orb against the shield using guards. It hits behind the shield, so it doesn't block all the damage.
Now, against these hammer giantesses, it's not exactly the best damage. They do resist the chaos damage type, so it's only doing 2 damage per tick, as opposed to 4 for its default, or 6 if against weakness at this point. Oh, it looks like 5 against weakness, so it's doing 3 point something or other basic. And whilst each individual hit of the Blood Orb is not a great amount of damage, you get 3 hits right in a row with it. I'm a big fan of the Blood Orb, personally.
Alright, Fizzle going to clean out the castle's basement. In the Archipelago version... Oh, we get the Succubus Hairpin out of just an egg. I was going to say, each of the chests has a name in the Archipelago client, and that one is just an egg, because there's only one. Is the next one Omelet?
Yep, next one is the Omelet Room. Because, 3 eggs and somebody watching over them.
So Succubus Hairpin is one of our pieces of vertical movement. It's the double jump. Also, we got a Timespinner gear out of Omelet, which is one of our Go Mode pieces. We need to collect 3 pieces of Timespinner gears, plus a spindle and a wheel in order to do the time thing.
Yeah, and it looks like Fizzleby found Maeth in the room with the Hammer Giantess. That is the default familiar.
Fizzle had also found Demon just prior to that.
Yeah, Demon is an okay familiar. Neither of them are as good as the bird.
Alright, so Umbra Orb is another very helpful orb. That one is also chaos damage, right?
Yes, that one is chaos damage, but instead of tracking and acting like the Blood Orb does, it acts more like the Nether Orb, where it's just a simple goes out, hits, returns. It can hit multiple times. To be fair, most of the orbs can hit multiple times, or any of the orbs that go out with a distance on them can hit both going out and coming back.
You do have to be pretty close for that to happen, but yeah. Alright, there are just a couple more checks that Fizzle's likely to make before going on to the first of the past bosses, which is the Succubus Twins and the Golden Idol.
Yeah, in the vanilla game, you find a way to travel back and forth through time, because your time machine breaks when you try and get into it initially, and it sends you way too far back. And
Shattered Orb for Fizzle, by the way.
That's pretty good bludgeoning damage, though I think I would rather stick with the Nether Orb.
I agree.
I mean, the Shattered Orb does have more hits, but I personally enjoy the speed of the Nether Orb, and not to mention ripping small holes in reality.
So this Royal Guard here, a bit of a bully, and does not take kindly to the intrusion, giving the Chaos debuff, which doesn't matter right now. It just removes the sand that you could gather. Fizzle?
Where are you going, Fizzle?
To leave? I do not understand this play.
I'm wondering if he wants to go check the shop and check to see if he can find the TPK anywhere before going to deal with the twins. The TPK, as I just now realized I've said that out of just automatic, it's the Twin Pyramid Keys. That's the item which allows you to travel back and forth through time when you are passing through one of those fancy gate rooms.
It also just allows you to teleport across the map whenever you want, which is very nice as well. Fizzle realizing that this is going to be a lot of spam in order to break that. There is the Twin Pyramid Key. That is a huge find.
All right, lucky play for him.
But we do need to go back.
Yeah, I personally would have used the Blood Orb to break that floor, or even the Forbidden Tome, because you can actually hit it a little easier.
I'm kind of wondering if both of our runners forgot that jewelry box.
Yeah, I don't know, man. All right, Fizzle doing the smart thing and making sure he teleports before he goes to the store to pick up things.
But looks to be going all... Are we going to Bluebird of Happiness before we go to the idol? That seems...
Yeah, he may be going to the left before dealing with the bosses.
I suppose if you have concerns about the mechanics of the bosses and you think that you don't have the equipment to live through the damage, that can be a reasonable play. Shadow Walker is headed up towards the idol fight. Wef, 100% agree. The gamble there and finding it is incredible.
All right, so it seems that Shadow Walker did remember he had the jewelry box swapped over. He's got the Shattered Orb ready, which, you know, it's a okay orb to use on the twins themselves, but against the idol in itself is where you're going to get a better showing of it.
Gave us a quick look at the Aura Serpent spell as well. That's one of the end game spells. Not super commonly used. It has a relatively low damage per hit and kind of a weird attack pattern. So it can be difficult to work with. Get that buzzsaw moment here.
I hate that buzzsaw, and the idol loves doing that. That is the Golden Idol's Desperation attack. It does that when it's below half hit points.
It also likes to do it twice in a row and then give you a chance to actually damage it for a while, because while the buzzsaw attack is going on, you cannot hit the idol. So that's why we see Shadow Walker, you know, charging up spells while that's going on, and down goes the idol.
All right, that is the first of 3 past bosses, and he is rewarded with Kobo, the friendly little robot friend.
So we have found 3 familiars so far. Meanwhile, Fizzle headed over to the left path. There's an upper and a lower path, but the lower path currently inaccessible because we don't have the water mask to go underwater. We do have the pendulum, though, which is going to provide immunity to poison, which is pretty nice. Poison in this game is a little rough.
Yeah, I find it more annoying than anything. But that's also because if I'm not playing on Nightmare, I prefer to face tank my way through a lot of enemies.
Well, the pendulum is really nice for face tanking through certain enemies, because the place where it is most useful is also the place with a lot of time-wasting enemies that you can just damage boost through.
Yep, very much. Now, we did see those vines hanging about in the area that Fizzle was just in as well. If he had access to some kind of a fire source, he could burn those vines, which do have an impact in the future or present when you go there. If you burn them, you can pass through those areas without a problem. If you don't, they grow for the next 1,000 years or so, and they block you off. And yes, Lily, I have to agree. Those little jumping rats are the absolute bane in Nightmare.
Alright, so here we see the Bluebird of Happiness, Azure Queen, I think is the actual name?
Yeah, the Azure Queen, and Fizzle is just not even paying attention. I mean, I'm just gonna take whatever.
there's a shadow seal. the damage was going up. That there was a shadow seal in play.
Yeah, I still personally would have gone for the Blood Orb with the Shadow Seal because, oh man, Blood Orb with Shadow Seal, each tick goes up and oh, happy thoughts.
All right, well, our present warp is Varntegray, which is nice. Nice-ish. Because we have the Succubus... Yeah, the Succubus Hairpin is going to allow us to skip some of the obstacle parts of this, though it's best if we can stay out of the water just for speed's sake.
Water. Ooh, water.
Without the Succubus Hairpin there, it does sort of require that you use these little floating platforms to get across. The jump is just too high otherwise, and you can't grab onto the ledge because of the spikes, but we are able to just double jump over that. More useless max sand because we don't have our wheel yet.
Yeah, the wheel is the major component of the time spinner. That's the part that actually allows you to, well, stop time.
Librarian giving us an old coat, which is the worst armor in the game.
I have to feel like she just found that the lost and found and was like, all right, here you go.
Shadow Walker making the Caves of Banishment upper play, which I kind of like, and I kind of don't. And the kind of don't part is that we don't have the water mask to hit up the 3 checks that are associated with it. 4 checks.
Yeah, it hit up the 4 checks. There is the 1 in Waterhook, and in the Siren's room, there are 3 checks. There's 2 on the right side, 1 on the left.
All right. Fizzle heading up to Backer Room, which has 5 checks, I believe.
5 checks, and potentially 2 more if you have a couple of other flags turned on.
Eternal Crown is a big payout. That is the best defensive hat in the game. And there's our wheel, which is the time stop ability that we have. We now can actually use the sand that we've gotten. She'll see in the hourglass icon next to the health and aura.
It really seems like Fizzle's gamble to pick up that TPK paid off.
Yeah, this is real big. Eternal Coat, however, on Shadow Walker's side, the best armor in the game.
And it looks like Shadow Walker is going to take the Medic Warp back. In the vanilla game, that's actually a vanilla location for those folks there. You talk to them, and they take you back to the refugee camp and let you go from there. And Shadow Walker is going to be very disappointed when he gets over to the Twin Pyramid Key Room.
So I didn't see if Fizzle stopped in to pick up any warp shards. That could be a small issue. But,
yeah, I didn't see him stop by the bird either.
We do have Lab Coat and an Eternal Crown. And that means Boots is going down. And the Teleria from that.
There's his go fast.
New.
Yeah, this is what makes the movement just feel so good.
Yeah, the Teleria attachment and the Succubus Hairpin together feel fantastic.
And there we see those little tears in reality from hitting something that is, a ranged attack effect. Unfortunately, with those little hanging things, you're just killing them immediately.
Empress Robe is a pretty good robe, but it doesn't have as much damage as the Lab Coat, so we're going back.
Yeah, neither runners have found any key cards either, so yeah, this is,
Speak of.
Never mind.
So we see the time stop now on Fizzle's side.
Stupid birds, leave me alone.
So this is the first area of the game right here. Not so much this part he's jumping up into right now, but generally this is an area where damage boosting through at this level of gear is the play. There's no real reason to fight the monsters here.
Yeah, they are worth a pittance of XP, and really the only reason to fight them is to make sure they don't hit you if you're playing something where they hurt.
Yep, there is Nightmare mode for this game, which dramatically increases the damage. I think it adds a flat 66 or something.
Adds at least a flat, 65 damage to it, and additionally, with the Randomizer 1.7 release, there's also a HP damage cap. Or an HP cap. So you could set yourself to have like, oh yeah, here, I have 20 HP max, go. So if you really want to challenge yourself, you can.
All right, so Fizzle has the storage locker to check here right away, and hopefully decides to purchase some warp shards. Getting a whole lot of nothing but validation in the form of a soul scanner, which is I get to see my enemy names now. One nice thing with Timespinner is that in the randomizer, when you have the map open, you can hold a button to see what checks are in logic for what you have. So we saw that on Fizzle's side. We've seen it, I think, a couple times on both runners' sides, actually. But the benefit of that is pretty significant. Because Fizzle has both the Succubus Hairpin and the Neumes, he's able to make that check for the captain's uniform that we saw Shadow do earlier by raising the bridge, but without raising the bridge. It's very nice. We'll be able to check a couple additional checks in here as well.
Yeah, because, well, time stop. I'm going to stand on your rocks, thanks. And gets a gun orb. It's a cromulent orb. Yeah. It does good damage, but the vertical hitbox on it is very, very tiny.
It is a needle. The bullet is in fact a bullet, and I'm fine with it. Oh, Timespinner Gear 2, so we have 3 pieces of the go mode equation for the Timespinner part at least. 2 more to go.
Yeah, and Shadow has now found the massive pile of disappointment that was hiding behind the bird.
Yep, so the long walk of shame has begun.
You can just hear him go, stupid.
We are going to see vanilla climb the tower strats here. How exciting is that?
Well, okay, yeah, we did see the vanilla climbing right there, because you can technically, with the artillery attachment, get up to that ledge without having to go around. It's a little bit of a trickier timing jump, but you can do it.
Sellen's Bangle, the experience booster item that normally you have to complete the game, I think, on Nightmare to do?
You have to complete the game on Nightmare level 1 to get the Sellen's Bangle.
Yeah, that's a real big boost, and I'm surprised that Fizzle hasn't equipped it yet. It is gigantic. Levels in this game are huge, and so getting an experience boost from the only item that does that is similarly huge. Still
Fizzle,
foregoing
please.
the burb.
Please, go get some warp shards, Fizzle. And yeah, Fizzle did a really quick and clean struggle juggle. Let's see if he does it just as well on the hard or on the core upper struggle juggle. I just think of it as the bad one.
It is the bad one. And the one where sometimes you get shot by lasers.
Oh, those stupid plasma cores. Those are the things that we were just complaining about, because if they get a lock onto you, sometimes they'll shoot you from quite a distance away, and oh, it is no fun.
Fizzle, just stocking back up on the sand real quick before coming up here to do Struggle Juggle Part 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Now, Fizzle did make one mistake in that he didn't stay behind it, so it did actually launch the attack.
And we're done here. So we're removing the chaos status because the chaos status lasts a long time and it just drains your sand very quickly. So getting that off is handy, but at the same time, I think that's probably just an orphaned check at this point. Fizzle even kind of confirming it by not making any efforts to keep the chaos status off. All right, we are on to Past Boss Part 2, Queen Aelana. This is a fight that the Blood Orb is very good at. So a little surprised to not see that changeover, but it's fine.
Yeah, it seems like Fizzle is just leaning into the Nether Orb for pretty much everything.
It's a very good orb.
It does do good damage, and if you can actually get the lightning bolt hit when she's up there, that's once again more good damage. It really shines though when she gets to her desperation attack.
Yeah, we're just missing the opportunities for this whirl here.
Oh, he was just a little bit too far back as well, so he wasn't getting the little reality tearing procs. There we go.
There it is. That tears Aelana apart. That's a B card. That is required to go through the final. And the Jin Inferno, we get our meatball. The probably best spell in the game. It's gigantic ball of huge damage.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like Fizzle may be going back for that struggle juggle, as he did just equip the bird statue.
Bird statue prevents the chaos status, which is very helpful.
Admiral Tryhard in chat, is trying to petition for bombardment. Bombardment does do good damage, not gonna lie, but you can't get the infinite mana glitch.
Fizzle doing a very good job with that struggle juggle.
Only to get Frozen Spires.
I would say don't sleep on Frozen Spires. It's still a good spell.
Unless you have to get, anything that's at an incline of like 2 pixels or higher.
Fair. And the magic meat machine has arrived.
And there is Shadow going, crap.
Yep. Fizzle's still skipping out on the bird. It seems like the bird has been skipped. The bird has been given the bird.
Which is a real shame, because those warp shards allow you to go to any gate that you have used recently, or it takes you to the last gate you used.
Yeah, it is the fastest way to traverse back from many areas. And there are plenty of areas where you have to do traversal back and forth. But we are going to see the twins on Fizzle's side now. Shadow Walker, meanwhile, catching up on these present timeline checks.
Not even playing about with the twins, just bludgeoning them.
Yeah, and in Fizzle's case, he has the stronger gear selection of the two of them for when they did the fight, respectively. Shadow had gotten his good equipment after this fight, so this is going much faster for Fizzle. Not that it matters that much.
And Shadow doing about what is expected, and clearing out the library as much as he can before leaving. Then he's going to find his Teleria at Kitty Boss and be very, very sad.
All right.
All right, so given what we've seen right now, I would say that, well, obviously our water mask is going to be fire locked.
I would not say that.
Oh no, we've got the towers. We've got the towers. I forgot about that. I'm not a smart man sometimes. Those times are days ending in Y.
Alright, there's that wheel for Shadow Walker, which is a very big deal. Also, getting the Eternal Crown to go with the Eternal Coat is a very nice feeling.
Please, Fizzle, go visit the bird. You have the egg to sell him.
Speaking of birds, do y'all mind if I jump in with a donation real quick?
If you got more puns or bad jokes to make Dark Moon groan, go ahead.
You know I do. A $5 donation from Gadio. I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm not, yell at me in chat. What do you call a chicken looking at lettuce? A chicken sees a salad. We got grown. Well done, Gadio.
I ran across the room just so I could hear that properly on stream for you.
Yes. We only got a few more hours of this, people. We gotta get those in. Alright, I'll let y'all go back to commentating.
So one other thing worth noting is that because Fizzle has the meatball, he also has the fire. So that means that he's able to clear out the vines and get ready for those fire lock checks.
Yeah, so when he goes back to the past, or goes back to the present, he can just go all the way to the left, run to the right, and check him. Which it looks like that's his direction right now.
I like it. Oh, the damage crown. Excellent.
All right. Empire Crown from Forget-Me-Not. Perfect.
Shadow Walker, meanwhile, going over to the struggle juggle checks.
Whoops.
Uh-oh. Oh no. It's fine.
Doesn't matter how much sand you get if you don't clear that chaos status.
Yeah. The nice thing is there is a farm for it here. You see the Colossal Hammer coming out on Fizzle's side, which is one of the reasons that a lot of people play this game, is how satisfying some of the sound effects and visuals are. The Colossal Hammer being one of those examples.
Yeah, that one's just got such a satisfying when it hits, or when it's cast. It's just...
That and the sword.
Yeah, the sword too, but it doesn't quite have the same satisfying, like, clang that the hammer does.
There's our water mask, indeed, in the fire-locked area.
I totally meant that, right? Yeah.
You were the one who called it.
Yeah, accidentally, because I entirely forgot about the towers.
Alright, Fizzle headed to Lake Serene to check the bottom of the lake checks.
And thankfully enough, they've got the Teleria, so the water won't be as slow.
I'm just realizing right now that Shadow Walker didn't take care of Boots.
Oh no.
Uh-oh. Lily bringing up the eels being scary on Nightmare. The eels are scary on normal, too. Just look at them. Jeez. If we didn't have the great armor that we have right now, those would still be scary enemies. They do relevant amounts of damage.
Yeah, on Nightmare they do, well, much scarier amounts. Nightmarish amounts of damage, one might even say.
Yes. Get some lab glasses. You can be Captain Cool Guy with your glasses. We're not going to see those glasses get put on. We have better hats already.
Best hats in the game between the Eternal Crown and the Empire Crown. The Eye Orb, personal favorite orb right there.
can do crazy amounts of damage if you're using orb swaps.
Yeah, and it's kind of just a creepy looking orb when you first pick it up.
Oh, yeah.
I remember picking that up in the vanilla game and like, oh, that's, oh boy.
Fizzle finally seeing the Merchant Crow, but in familiar form, which does not sell you warp shards. Alright, Caves of Banishment is our final dungeon of the past. And this is where that pendulum really comes in handy, because we have the gear to skip all of these areas, and the mushrooms poison you normally. So with Teleria, with double jump, just new on through here.
We see Shadow Walker, though, in his Lana fight, using the Blood Orb to great effect. Alright, getting his B card, getting his meatball, having no access to the attic.
Seeing the arm cannon on Fizzle's side, which is sometimes good. Gas mask, very handy. We no longer need to breathe biscuits in order to kill them all.
That's a good thing for Fizzle, because he didn't pick up any biscuits.
Yup.
So the Stinky Maw flag, what that does is, in the zone before you get to the Maw, there's a miasma that if you don't have the gas mask, it chokes you out, and you will suffocate from it.
But because it's a timer and then just damage in chunks, you can use healing items to get through it. It's just a little tense sometimes.
Yeah, just a titch.
Alright, we found a Royal Ring, which is our access to the Plasma Lock.
Yeah, the room that is affectionately known as Yas Queen. I really seriously doubt we'll be seeing that, though, unless both runners are like, okay, where is my spindle or my last gear?
It's so funny to see this routed without the lore checks in. We have options available in the randomizer. I say we, like I'm one of the developers. But there are options in the randomizer to allow you to have items placed at the lore checks, which show up as little pieces of parchment in the past and memory crystals, I guess, in the present. And they also have the option to have downloadable items, which you need the tablet to check the various pedestals in the game. We don't have either of those turned on, and, you know, it's a little sad.
And this is the Maw. And yeah, this is just gonna be an absolute bludgeoning fest for Fizzle.
Not even doing the setup.
They're probably hoping for the damage to, you know, increase his own output.
Yeah, so there's a setup in this fight where you use the time stop to walk right up to the edge of the Maw, and then most of the effects in the fight can't hit you.
Yeah, the only attack that can hit you from that Maw, or from the Maw, if you are right in front of it, is that laser puke.
Alright, so we have the long climb. As we go up the mine shaft, because there's an item up here that's kind of a pain to get otherwise. You have to break the floor of the room above, which is one that Shadow Walker's already passed through.
Yeah, and Shadow Walker has had actually fairly good routing this seed. It's just that it didn't pay off for him. Sometimes rando gonna rando.
So here we're going to see those underwater checks. As Shadow Walker is getting the Teleria attachment. Corruption, the contentious spell.
Yeah, Corruption, one of those weird spells that the little, like, it's got two parts of damage. It's got an initial burst, which is chaos damage, and then it has little projectiles, which are actually one of the few non-elemental damages.
Fizzle, please, you just put on galaxy earrings instead of the Sellen's bangle. Please.
And this run back right here is why we say, please buy shadow shards, or not shadow shards, warp shards if you can.
So I don't mind this walk back because Fizzle doesn't have the warp point down here, part 1. Part 2 has checks to make down here.
Alright, well, ignore me then.
And if Fizzle had really wanted to, he could take the quest teleport back.
Yeah, I'm my bad. I'm a derp.
And this is one other check that Fizzle's going to be able to make that Shadow wasn't able to make when he was down here. Making it a little bit more complicated than it needed to be, but still good.
Yeah, you can make that jump with just the Teleria on the double jump, but by the time you get there in vanilla, you don't have the Teleria, because Teleria is one of the endgame items. So you have to lure one of the bats over and, well, stop them and use them as a platform.
Oh, there's our punchy fists.
Punchies. Yep, alright, he's changing to those. So, Fizzle, please set up a second set.
No. And all he has left in the past to check currently is Yasqueen, which I think is literally all he has left to check.
He hasn't touched the towers.
In the past, I mean.
Oh, in the past, yeah. All he's got left is Yasqueen in the past. Well, he also has Alana's attic, but he has no access to that.
I think he meant to go... Yeah.
Alright, I'm in the right place. I'm in the wrong time. Whoops.
That happens sometimes. I do appreciate the Undertale references that we're seeing from our chat here. The Fizzle refused to change.
Oh, Fizzle coming to check these two chests. Getting bombardment, that's actually not bad. That
Two warp shards. Was there like a gentleman's agreement not to purchase these things?
I don't know, man.
So we're getting calls out for bombardment being the shotgun. It is indeed the shotgun. You get 7 or 8 projectiles out of it. I think it's 8, but the nearest one to you is very hard to connect on things. And against large targets, it is an absolute shredder.
It absolutely just wrecks the Golden Idol and the Maw to a certain point, as long as it's not rolled down.
Fizzle making the difficult choice here to go up and then come back around, because we don't have the C card, which is going to allow us to get across the bridge at the top, and we don't have the elevator card, which is kind of important otherwise.
Fizzle picking up the Plasma Geyser, which is the Kamehameha spell, basically.
Oh, by the way, yeah, high fives here. As they're going to the same screens.
But no C card, so can't go there.
I like how they both juked towards it, and then realized, oh wait.
Wait a minute. No. Now, Shadow looks like did also skip that C card locked chest, and so did Fizzle. All right, so
Well, again, they don't have the C card, so if they were going to get it, they'd have to
not a
glitch.
smart man. Yeah, I was just thinking like, okay, they've got the card for it, right? No, that's the B card they've got.
There is our first infinite vertical movement available in the form of Light Wall, where you cast a spell, it creates a wall, and when you create the wall, you can stand on it.
Fizzle taking the time to check his relics to see, all right, how much do I have to get still before I am in actual go mode?
This room is so much better when you have the wheel. When you don't have the wheel, this room is a nightmare.
I hate this room so hard when you can't stop those falling bombs.
Shadow making up some of that background. Oh, we get the V card. The card that does not matter. Not in this flag set, at least. It's real good when you have downloadable items on, but it doesn't lock anything for these runners from a progression standpoint with these flags.
Yeah, it is 3 items, or 3 checks that can be found in the library, because that's the librarian restricted key card.
Rip Ice Orb, the orb whose usefulness has already been seen.
Yep.
There's the A card, which is the card you never want to see. The A key card opens up what is sometimes affectionately known as Zarian Land, Zarian being a very annoying boss to get to and to fight.
It's a very annoyed bat that's controlling a giant chicken skeleton.
I've heard it as a moth. And given that there are moths just outside, you know.
Bat, moth, whatever. It looks like a bat, so my brain goes bat.
It's lab time. Fizzle going to do this the bothersome way.
Well, it's the only way. This is the way to do it. Wait, no, he does have light wall.
Yeah, this is the way that you do it if you want to do it without good vertical movement. I'm impressed that he got it as fast as he did. And there's our coffee break.
Yep. The interesting thing or fun thing about that room is each of those little coffee machines, it drops only sand. Like, constantly, only sand. And it's convenient because it respawns rather quickly because you're going to need it in that room. Most of the time.
So we're not getting the cheeky check to see what the item is out of the experiment room.
It was a good try by Fizzle. Not quite, though. You cannot get up there without having the Celestial Sash. You gotta go the long way.
We're going to see vanilla strats for getting across this, more or less.
Okay, and as being called out in chat, yeah, you can do light wall strats with it too. I just prefer Sash because I'm lazy.
So there's the Star of Lachiam, which is a potentially very good ring, but because we have Shadow Seal, not so great. The Star lets you attack 3 times with your orbs instead of just 2. The Shadow Seal, instead, as you take damage, gives you more damage. So now the real trick is...
Fizzle, please equip your light wall.
He realized he has the jewelry box.
And equips the tome instead for it. Okay.
I mean, because you swing the saber first, it gets that overhead motion so that you get to kill those.
Yeah, but light wall also would have handled it a bit quicker.
For cosmetics.
At least he's prettier now.
Are you saying that Fizzle is not a pretty man?
Prettier. The enhancement or the enhancer does not act as a negation. One thing I do so love about this game, though, is how Lunaeus, the protagonist, just how she moves. Like, the little twirl with the double jump, it's just so neat.
So this is like the lich of this game. The economizer ring, very helpful with the light wall. As currently, unless Fizzle knows light wall skip, or in the pyramid, it's going to be a real long climb.
Whereas we see Shadow going for the... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Shadow's going up against the Maw right now, using the light wall strats to get some good damage out, but also using the Blood Orb, which is not super effective. Okay, so Fizzle is going to have options in a minute, and I want to know which options he takes. So right now, Fizzle's areas to check involve either going up into Dad's Tower, which is the area right after this one, or going to Zarian Land behind that A key card. Neither one of them is particularly fun. But if there is an area that was going to remind you of Symphony of the Night, it is, in fact, going up into Dad's Tower. That was an elevator key card, sir. French vanilla, we're skipping out on the A card to get an elevator card.
I can get behind that. Really don't like seeing the A card. You'll use it if you have to, but it's no fun.
Okay, we're doing elevator checks. I understand and appreciate this. Immediately to the spider hell.
Womp womp. No, please, Fizzle, you've got that light wall. Please, just equip the light wall, put one up, and let it burn the thing down.
So this spider hell is not quite so bad as the other one, because the other one has a bunch of those ceiling juts. This one only has the edges of the room, because that's what really makes these rooms particularly bad. Now, the upshot is that was worth a lot of experience to Fizzle.
Yeah, those Hellgazers are giant balls of XP. They just happen to be in the form of laser shooting one-eyed spiders.
Cyclopic spiders? Is that
Yes, that's the word. Thank you. I am still not braining well.
You were up all night.
Yeah. Still not braining well.
If you did not see it, Hate was a big part of the Archipelago block last night. And, yeah, that was definitely a stay up all night kind of proposition. There was at least one time spinner in there, I'm sure.
Yeah, I did time spinner at least once. I think that was actually the only time we saw it in the AP block.
Mind if I jump in real quick?
Please.
Of course.
Speaking of not braining well, Darkmoon is having a heck of a night because we got another dad joke donation from the lovely Sprocket Stance. How do snails fight? They slug it out.
It's not even scientifically accurate.
I'm high-fiving her for that one when I see her. But yeah, folks, dad joke donations appreciated. They're fun. They're raising money for a great charity, the Liam Foundation. We've got this rest of this run. We've got 2 more runs after this, another Time Spinner and the Metroid Fusion, which also has a donation incentive in their run. Killer Save the Animals, as you can see on the screen there. Save the Animals is up by like $25. So unless you want the animals to be saved, you better donate to get it over that. Otherwise, we're saving animals tonight and raising money for charity. It's good causes all around. At least I think so. People don't seem to like to save the animals in those games.
I mean, it's save the animals or save the frames. And then we did have the heel turn out of Solski last night.
Yeah. That was a fun race.
To be fair, though, I thought he was going to go in and just taunt the animals.
I wasn't aware that you could just taunt them because it looks like the door locks behind you, but, I mean...
Well, I expected him to, like, just open the door, maybe shoot a couple of shots in, and then leave.
Okay. Fizzle has made his checks. Shadow Walker, not far behind, really, because, in the lab, doing lab things. Fizzle's going to Zarian Land.
Aw, yeah. Let's go to the land of poison and undead chickens.
So, this is part of the true end game of the vanilla game, which is why the enemies here hurt. Look at Fizzle's health just evaporating.
Yeah, these things hit real hard.
They are, however, also worth a lot if you choose to kill them.
Alright, what we see Fizzle doing right now is the meatball glitch, as we call it. Using the Jin Inferno, as long as you cast it again before it's off the screen, you get your mana back. You just keep doing that as long as you keep the cadence up, and as long as it doesn't get interrupted by, other projectiles being on screen, causing it to not launch.
That tech is really helpful because it's also one of, if not the most expensive spells in the game. Crimson Vortex, the sad version of the meatball.
That doesn't refund.
So, from Fizzle's perspective, we're still looking for 2 pieces of the Time Spinner. The Spindle and Gear 3, by the looks of it. And that will allow him to go back in time and perform some emergency murdering, which is important for breaking time, because breaking time is how you go on to the true end game. So, we're looking for those 2 pieces. There's security keycard C that opens a couple of checks. Not really great ones, but they exist. The other thing that we're really hoping to see is the Celestial Sash, which is our infinite vertical movement of choice. The Light Wall is capable. The Celestial Sash is basically neumes to the sky.
I am not a good person, so I'm actually kind of hoping we see the Sash in its vanilla location.
Well, then we won't see it.
Probably not, no.
Alright, well, Fizzle got to the end of Zarian Land as far as the teleporter is concerned, and then left. Leaving the skeletal chicken. So if this doesn't feel like Symphony of the Night right here, I don't know what does.
Fizzle running into what I affectionately call the cake shop, because those guys drop an item called the Empress Cake, and that's real easy to just sit in there and kill them.
Okay, we are going to go up the right side as well, which, that's a trip, all right.
Yeah, he's probably going to go hit this easy check, and hey, there's the spindle. That's at least one thing. And now he has to make the hard choice of, all right, do I go up this side or, okay, it looks like he's going up this side. I hated going up this side in vanilla.
Yep, but Lightwall does solve many problems here.
Very much so.
The spinning wheels are a little finicky to get onto. Your other option at this point is to utilize your time spinner wheel to freeze time so that the little demon guys stop, as well as their projectiles, if I recall correctly.
The projectiles stop, but I don't think you can jump on those ones. I ended up using, when I did this in vanilla the first time, I ended up using that little demon guy in a struggle juggle type of thing. And not
Filigree
getting
teeth.
paid. Ooh.
That's a feels bad, but you know what? It's out of the brain pan. We're no longer worried about that check. Did Fizzle ever go back for Yas Queen?
I do not believe he did. Alright, so we're going to see the quote-unquote bad ending, which is, you know, beating up your dad. Spoilers. Yeah. Happy Father's Day, I'm here to murder my dad.
Fizzle. Living on the edge.
Yeah, making use of the Shadow Seal, too. It's almost full of full viability.
So we see the spinning blades there. That attack is less annoying than the other version that we can see from a different boss. But it is still potentially dangerous, as it can reach places that the hitbox doesn't otherwise indicate that it could.
It looks like Fizzle making his choice to just stay and rule over the Empire now. But the future refused to change. Murdered your dad for a stash.
Yep. Alright, and down the hole we go. So, Yas Queen or Zarian? Oh wait, we have
Or
to
the
keep
C
checks over
checks.
here. Or the C checks, yeah.
And Shadow already did these checks. These are nothing.
Shadow making good time, honestly.
And Alana's attic.
Oh,
Yeah. Thank you for the reminder of that one, Lily.
My name is Lunaeus Montoya. I killed my father. Prepare to die.
Shadow deciding to go for the meatballs, just like, all right, I'm just gonna throw meatballs at you until you fall over.
Harrison, did that count as a dad joke?
I don't know. Does it?
I did appreciate the reference though. That was fun.
All right, here goes Fizzle to check at least the first C card locked check.
Oh my gosh. So in the randomizer, most people don't go to fight that boss. It's the second boss of the game.
Yep, that is the boss that comes up after you get to Boots in vanilla. But with that, Fizzle's now ready to go kill an emperor that ruled and caused problems before he was born.
Yep, we have gone back in time to kill the emperor that was in charge back when the past was the present.
And Fizzle is just applying punch fists until it falls over.
It's the rational decision.
Beat it until it dies. Yeah,
Yep.
it works for this guy.
So the short version of what's going on plot-wise here is you're creating a temporal paradox to break time. Were you intending to break time? I don't know. But you certainly did. And now we're going to kill the person who's in charge of protecting time, because he seems to be protecting time, and we don't like that anymore.
Your version of the universe sucks. I'm gonna make my own.
Okay, it's time for the pyramid, which is a blend of fabulous movement.
Fabulous movement, really good music, and we get to see him do it without the sash.
Yeah, this is kind of the vanilla way of doing things, which is a little sad, but also he's kind of putting on a clinic with it. What I have to ask, though, is why not? It's right there.
I know, right?
So there is a check that Fizzle walked by. It was literally one room out of his way. And it's a very small room. It's literally like one visible room. That's it. And there's a check there. And we're taking the long fall. We're gonna be here a while, folks. Is he on his economizer setup?
I don't know. It looks like it because it's not taking a huge amount of aura for each light wall, but yeah. And it looks like Lily had better eyes than I did, and point out that Fizzle does have the economizer on.
Would have to with how many light walls he's gotten out so far.
And he's through!
Best room in the game. Hype! If that room didn't just sell you on the movement in this game, I don't know what does.
Oh, that room is so satisfying.
The Plasma IV Bag, one of the quest items that is not required to know who we are to kill the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yes, this is the Sandman. He's the one who's trying to protect reality from you doing what you're doing. Trying, failing.
It's okay, we have meatballs. It's IKEA up in here. So we're seeing how the meatball glitch is applied in that the mana is not going down. And down goes phase 2, which means we're about to beat a dead horse.
Excellent, excellent. This is Nightmare. This is the beast at the end of time and beyond time that, well, really, you want to take over, you got to deal with it.
So unlike Sandman, Nightmare are not so weak to the meatball, very weak to the light wall.
That being said, though, you throw
Shotgun
enough meatballs at things. Yeah, shotgun strats are very good, but you throw enough meatballs at anything, it's going to fall over.
And there is Nightmare down. Get your exclamation marks in chat. We'll see if Fizzle is going to follow through on that.
Come on,
or his
Fizzle.
stream will freeze because he left the window.
Yeah.
He went to the race room, I'm sure, to dot done. There we go. And hey, guess what? 0 concussions. If you don't find your celestial sash, you can't hit your head against the ceiling with your infinite vertical movement, and therefore don't get any concussions.
Hello.
Hello.
I was gonna yoink you, and then I was like, wait a minute, he can yoink himself, and then you yoinked yourself.
Someone yoinked me.
Yeah, I yoinked him.
Oh, jeez.
Fastest full clear in the West, baby.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you didn't get Yas Queen, you didn't get the Alana's Attic.
Yep. And I didn't do Zarian. Those were the 3 checks I did not do.
Hello, Shadow.
And the one elevator C key thingy. Yeah. Hello.
So you want to know what put me way behind?
Not killing boots?
Everything?
No. The one thing that put me way behind was skipping the 1 check in Royal Tower that we had when we first got there.
Yeah,
which was
Yeah.
TPK.
Yeah, yeah, you big brained that one, Fizzle.
I was just like, I don't want to deal with stupid idle right now. Like, I can get to that 1 check in Royal Tower, and if that's something that lets me do the rest of the Royal Tower, that will be amazing. And while it didn't do that, it did let me do everything else. So,
yeah. I was like, well, there's only 1 check, and it feels real bad going into Royal Tower to get 1 check for it to not be anything and lose a bunch of time.
mm-hmm.
And then it's the one thing that, super mattered.
I lost back in the FFR Timespinner tournament. I lost a race because I was just like, "Nah, I'm gonna do stupid idle. Watch this," and was slogging away at it for like 10 minutes. So this time around, I was just like, "No, I'll come back when I have power."
I mean, you had bludgeon damage. That's really all you need for it.
Yeah, I mean, Shattered Orb and Aura Serpent made it go down real fast for me.
Did I have Shattered Orb at that point? Oh yeah, I did.
You had that. You also had Nether.
Before then.
They had the Nether Orb as well.
There were plenty of options for idle.
Yeah, it just felt bad that, like, I don't know. I didn't feel like I was prepared to just steamroll it, and I figured other checks were going to be quicker.
All right, so where's this last thing?
That you still looking for Gear 3?
Yeah, Gear 3. It's
Yep.
It's gonna be a while.
I mean, there's only so many things that I can check. I just have to go to the one right thing that it is, right?
Yeah, that was my theory for the longest time.
I mean, I have access to go everywhere, right? Like, it's just one of these checks, and I don't know which.
So you're not up on the stream currently, but I'm gonna guess that you found the item that was blocking what it is. So.
Oh, okay. That's basically that it's 1 check.
No, it's a couple. But
well,
anyway,
yes.
What I do want to say, Shadow, is all right, so you had the walk of shame of not having the TPK and having gone all the way over to the vanilla TPK room. And you didn't get the Teleria right away, but you still made up an incredible amount of time. Like, you did manage to route real well.
Yeah, you did some really good routing. You did manage to get up or to catch up fairly well.
Yeah, I mean, I knew when I came back and saw that it was TPK. Well, really, on the walk of shame where I knew that was the regression item, regardless of what it was, that I had lost a huge amount of time. But I was like, if I get some items, I can, make up a whole bunch of time, but...
Yeah, in the beginning, there's so many checks felt incomplete and bad that I was just kind of flailing around a little bit.
Yeah. This was one of those seeds where it really ran you around. There it is.
Yup.
It did go into my inventory, right? Yeah, okay. I don't need to fight you then. Goodbye. Oh, no!
Yeah, you
It
do
doesn't
have
let
to
me
fight.
warp? That's
Yeah, you
so
do.
rude.
Yep.
I mean, I'll just force feed you some meatballs. Get out of my face.
I punched it to get the aggression out.
The eyeball deserved it.
Yep.
Sure did. Alright, let's get my way back into the tower so I can go take out the pyramid.
Well,
Yeah,
we
this was
are-
a
Oh, go
pretty
ahead.
good seed. It's just like there were a couple things that made it really annoying. I guess I do. It does not matter.
So we are a little bit behind on the schedule here, and so we want to make sure that we get the next race set up, which also, by the way, Hate is going to be part of that, as I recall.
Yeah, I actually was just gonna say I gotta bounce so I can get set up for that and get things ready on my end. So, Lord Fizzlebeef, Shadow, good race, and
Yeah. Looking forward to watching yours.
thank you kindly. I will catch you guys soon.